Should you play The Division 2 in 2025? This is starting to feel more and more like a loaded question. Myself and this game have had a bit of a bumpy relationship over the last year, with the release of the new seasonal format not really being for me, and the long-awaited Brooklyn DLC getting hit with delay after delay. Despite this, I still have a soft spot for the game with over 2,000 hours played, but right now, this year, is it worth playing? Is it worth your time? Well, come along as we take a deep look at the game from the current pricing, content, and ongoing support, and ask the question, should you play The Division 2 in 2025? Let's start with the obvious for those who are looking to get into the game for the first time. What is The Division 2? The Division 2 is an online third-person looter-shooter that puts you in the shoes of a Division agent, a highly trained and equipped sleeper agent only activated when all else fails. Arriving in an overgrown Washington DC months after a vicious virus was unleashed. Your objective is to help suppress the gangs that have risen amongst the chaos, attempting to take the city for themselves. So the game is getting on in the years. What can you expect to pay for it? First, platforms. Do you own the hardware? Well, probably. The Division 2 is available on PC using Steam, the Epic Store, or straight from Ubisoft's own launcher, which I'd probably recommend using, with the other two platforms working more as a shortcut to open Ubisoft Connect anyway. For consoles, The Division 2 is on PlayStation 4 and 5 and Xbox One, S and X. I've done a few of these yearly should you play reviews by now, and I always say the same thing. At this point in The Division 2's life, I would highly recommend against paying near full price. You can, more often than not, pick The Division 2 up along with the expansion Warlords of New York for pretty cheap. To give you an example, as I'm writing this script, the base game is only $6.24 on Steam, with the Ultimate Edition, which comes with the expansion and all the other bells and whistles, only being $12.49, with an RRP of $49.99. And believe me, that's not even the cheapest I've seen it. I do remember a point where they were literally selling the base game on Ubisoft Connect for $2.99. So if you are thinking of picking this game up, you should 100% wait for a sale. Let's dig into the thick of the video. What can you do in Tom Clancy's The Division 2? Well, as I've said, The Division 2 is a looter shooter, a genre that merges shooter gameplay with more traditional RPG mechanics like lootable gear and weapons that come in different rarities with different stats and attributes. This means the main gameplay loop is to play, shoot, and loot for better items so you can go on to play harder content, perfecting your builds as you go. After being around for over 6 years, The Division 2 has accrued a pretty good range of content for you to play. The main story missions take place in some pretty unique landmarks around Washington DC, from monuments to museums. There's the roguelite mode Descent that puts you in a simulation with random weapons and skills each run, with the goal of fighting your way to the Nemesis, which is a climactic boss fight. There's the Summit, which has you scale a 100-floor skyscraper with randomly generated floors and encounters. Countdown, where you jump into a team of 8 agents to try and stop a power plant from having a meltdown. There's 2 full 8-player raids, a ton of open world activities, and you get the idea. At this point in the game's life, there is a huge amount to do, with there pretty much being something for every player's tastes, whether you're looking for something with a good amount of difficulty, or just a chilled solo grind. The Division 2 does also have a full expansion called the Warlords of New York. This takes place after the main story, and takes you to Lower Manhattan to hunt down a rogue squad of Division agents. Warlords of New York, or WONY, comes with its own unique story and open world content that all takes place in a new map of Lower Manhattan. If PvP is more your thing, then I have some bad news. The Division 2 does have both PvPvE and pure PvP. First, let's talk the Dark Zones. The Division 2 has 3 small dark zones, which are lawless areas where you can kill NPCs, gather loot, then extract it before it's yours. Or you can hunt down or be hunted down by other players to steal your loot before extracting it for themselves. In the Division 1, the Dark Zone was the real selling point of the game, and honestly, it was a great time. I used to log into the Division 1, go straight to the Dark Zone, and spend hours there. But sadly for the Division 2, they tend to be on the quieter side, with the game's PvP not being in the best place right now. There is also Conflict, which is a 4v4 pure PvP game mode with a few different maps and objectives. But again, with the state of the current PvP, it's just not the best time. Sure, there is a player base for it, but in my opinion, I'd go look elsewhere for your PvP. I may even jump in at some point soon, make a quick video just going over how the PvP currently is in game. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. Let's move on to the player base and ongoing support. Player base wise, The Division 2 isn't exactly thriving, however it is still fairly active for a game of this age, with matchmaking on PC being pretty quick, especially around the endgame activities. And if you're ever stuck for a group to play with, whether you're on PC or console, there is always plenty of chatter in the official Discord, with there being people pretty much talking constantly and different audio channels you can hop into. For ongoing support, The Division 2 does have regular seasonal updates that introduce new story beats, weapons, gear and so on. As part of the ongoing support for the game, we do have seasons, and very recently, the developers have changed how the seasons are structured, moving away from FOMO-style challenges like leagues that spanned over 2 weeks and worked as speedruns, apparel events to grind and unlock new outfits, as well as other activities. And this has been changed to something that feels like it's been developed to have less of a rush to it, meaning you can complete the activities in your own time. But this, for me, just felt like more of a downgrade, with parts of the season, like the new journey, being presented as a simple tick list of things for you to go and do. And if you're like me, or just somebody who's played the game pretty heavily, that just means we're playing the same old content we've been playing for the last 6 years. I'll admit not all areas of the new seasons are like this. The way the seasonal story has been told has been much improved on. Originally, these were called manhunts, and to be honest, yes, they were a small list of activities to go and do, leading to a climactic mission where you took out your main target. The newer version has you figuring out little puzzles leading you where to go, which admittedly does have you playing old content, but at least there's a bit of a twist to it, with you needing to figure out where to go first. There is also priority objectives, letting you pick one of 3 veiled panels to unlock an objective for extra Season Pass XP and other rewards. Again, like the journey, to me this just felt like a way to repackage old content, and something that I think I've only interacted with 2 or 3 times just to try it out. Something else that didn't sit right with me was the way they've changed the Season Pass and how you level it. In the previous versions of the seasons, the Season Pass leveled alongside your character with normal XP. This meant you could go play whatever you want and do whatever you want and still level up your Season Pass. In the newer version, or Season 2.0, you need to earn specific Season XP through the journey, priority objectives, and other means. Meaning that you can no longer jump in game and do what you want to do, but instead checking what the game wants you to do, and these are 2 very different things. Let's also quickly touch on microtransactions, with this being a live service game. In The Division 2, microtransactions are actually very tame, with there being no pay to win and no XP boosters. The majority are simple cosmetics, outfits, skins. There is a Season Pass for the premium Season Pass items, which is 1000 premium credits, or about $8.59, or you can pick up a Season Pass bundle with a few extra levels already unlocked and an outfit, but that's as far as paying for progression goes. I should also mention you can actually buy a lot of the store cosmetics for textiles, a currency added that you can earn in-game to buy specific items from the premium store. You can't buy every item, with some still being locked to real cash transactions, but to be honest, you can buy the majority with textiles. What about bigger future content drops? Well, the game does have a new expansion on its way in the future, which will take place in Brooklyn, but this has been hit with a few delays so far, landing with a vague release date of later in 2025, but if I hear more, I'll be sure to keep you posted. Hello, Editor Abrax here. Not long after I finished this video, Massive actually dropped a deep dive for the DLC Battle of Brooklyn. Plus, we have a release date, the 27th of May, 2025. With Battle of Brooklyn, we are getting a brand new map made up of Brooklyn Heights and Dumbo. On this map, we're getting 3 new main missions and 4 world missions, which are replayable side missions. Plus, we're getting new exotics and new gameplay mechanics. Soon I will have a quick video going over everything we know so far about the Battle of Brooklyn, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. Alright, let's get back to the video. And altogether, this loops us back to the opening question. Should you play The Division 2 in 2025? This question means something very different to new and returning players. So let's start with the folks that I feel this video is really for. New players looking to jump in for the first time. If you have never loaded it up before, I can still wholeheartedly recommend The Division 2 in 2025 for new players. There is a huge amount of content, deep lore, and the rest for you to dig into, especially if you're starting from 0 hours. For returning players, it depends on why you left. If you weren't a fan of the older style seasons, then it might be worth jumping in and checking out Season 2.0, seeing if that's more your kind of thing. If you didn't like the first of the Season 2.0, well, I'm afraid we're stuck on more of the same, and like me, you might be better off waiting for the Brooklyn DLC. And if you left before the release of Warlords of New York, that expansion is definitely worth returning for, with it bringing a ton of new story, a new map, and other content. I hope that answered your question. Have you stopped playing The Division 2? Do you still play? Why do you play? Let's talk about it in the comments below. This Should You Play is one of a few I have planned, so with more on the way, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for future uploads. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do that here on YouTube by becoming a channel member, or over on Patreon, links are in the description. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.